The Indiana Pacers start a new season of NBA basketball on October 25th against the Washington Wizards. So, with this season coming up, what should we come to expect from a Pacers team that in the past few years has been tanking for better draft picks, but last year showed a lot of promise and early in the season was looking like a playoff contender, but after Tyrese Haliburton got injured, those hopes kind of faded away, and the Pacers were relegated back to a tanking franchise trying to get better draft picks. Now, the Pacers made some very win-now moves in the offseason, acquiring guys like Obi Toppin and Bruce Brown. We saw Bruce Brown have a really good NBA Finals and playoffs as a whole, and as he gets more offensive touches, his scoring production will probably increase, and we know he's a guy who can drop, a 30-point game or something like that, and probably average around 15 points per game, which is really good. And Obi Toppin as a starter with the New York Knicks has some very impressive stats. So, both of those guys moving into very prominent roles in the Pacers lineup as starters is going to be really interesting to see, because the starting lineup's most likely going to look something like this. Tyrese Haliburton at point guard, obviously. Shooting guard is either going to be Buddy Hield or Bennedict Mathurin. Then small forward is going to be Bruce Brown. Then power forward is going to be Obi Toppin. And then center is going to be Miles Turner. Now, we know Miles Turner's production increased a lot with Tyrese Haliburton as his point guard, because Tyrese could kick it out to him behind the three-point line after he drives in and draws in the defense. Or Tyrese can make that inside pass when Miles Turner's maybe making a backdoor cut, or he's just kind of posted up in the post against a smaller guy or a center who he's just better than and can beat. So Miles Turner, his scoring production increased a lot, almost a 20-point per game scorer with Tyrese Haliburton. Now, Obi Toppin, as a starter, averages around 20 points per game, which I know it's a very limited amount of games that he started, but still, those numbers are pretty impressive. So, over an 82-game span with Tyrese Haliburton passing him the ball, Tyrese is able to get it up there for those lobs. I went to the Fan Jam, I saw Tyrese lob it up to Obi. That stuff was crazy. He is definitely capable of doing that a few times a game. And with Obi, he can shoot the ball a little bit, not a lot, but he can shoot the ball a little bit. It's going to be really hard for defenses to pick who they want to neutralize, because if you guard Tyrese, you try to neutralize Tyrese, okay, you might slow down his scoring, but his ability to play make for other players, it's going to do just as much damage. Because, I know it's a bit of a debate whether Mathurin or Hield will start at shooting guard, which I'll get into in a little bit, but, both of those guys can also score at a 15, 16 point per game level. So Tyrese will be able to dish it out to a multiplicity of guys who can shoot threes, who can score inside, even got a little bit of a mid-range game with Bennedict Mathurin. He can draw fouls like crazy. Bennedict Mathurin drew fouls probably better than any rookie out of his whole class. Rookies don't usually get foul calls the way Bennedict Mathurin got them, because usually rookies, they get that rookie treatment. But Bennedict Mathurin was just so good at drawing fouls that the refs had to give it to him. So coming into year 2, I feel like his ability to draw fouls and get points off of free throws is going to increase even more. So with Tyrese, it's just going to be crazy. Teams are going to have to pick and choose who they want to try and shut down and who they feel like is the best to shut down. Now, when it comes to who should start, Buddy or Bennedict, it depends on how the Pacers want to play. With Bennedict Mathurin, you get that guy who can draw fouls. You get a guy who can score more on the inside. But his three-point shooting isn't as good as Buddy. But I feel like if you bring Buddy off the bench, which he is willing to do, we know Buddy Hield has no problem coming off the bench. So if he's willing to do that, and he's fine with that, having that three-point ability off the bench is crazy. Because then you go out there, and then you have Bennedict Mathurin. They've got to try and guard him. And then once your second unit comes on, they have to guard Buddy Hield at the three. They have to have good enough perimeter defense to guard Buddy Hield. And you've got TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard in your second unit, so they can definitely kick it out to him and create shots for Buddy Hield on that three-point line. And then in your second unit along that, you've got Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith, who can score inside really, really well. Now, obviously, I'm not the coaching staff. It's whatever they see. I'm really not going to have a problem no matter who they decide to start. I'm going to trust Rick Carlisle. He's been around enough basketball to know who's going to be better doing what. But no matter what, the Pacers starting five and their bench unit is going to be surprisingly good. Like, it's going to be a lot better than what we've seen in the past few years. This is a team that could possibly be as high as a 5 seed in the East. Now, I know that's lofty, and if we suck this year, this video is going to make me look horrible. But I'm confident enough in this team that I'm confident saying they could be a playoff team. Not a play-in team, a playoff team outright. 5 or 6 seed. Because, I mean, I'm excited about this team. This team's young. This team's energetic. They've got a little bit of an aspect of some win now guys on their team, whereas they've also got some younger guys on the team. It's going to be really hard to figure out who's going to get playing time because there's a lot of guys that are worthy of playing time. I mean, you've got 9 guys on your bench who can play. That's pretty impressive. This team can be a playoff team. And I feel like that's what we should do. I feel like we should be kind of kicking into not contender and not necessarily win now. I'm not saying trade a bunch of draft picks or anything like that, but we should try to make the playoffs this year. We should absolutely, as fans and the players, I know, because we've all seen their interviews and stuff, they say they want to make the playoffs. So this season, the expectation should be playoffs. Not necessarily a 50-win team or anything like that, but playoffs, whether it's a 7 or an 8th seed having to fight in and get in through the play-in, or just be a playoff team outright and snag like a 6th or a 5th seed. The big problem with this team is going to be defense. Because, I mean, we all saw it last year. They've got good individual defenders. Miles Turner, Isaiah Jackson. You know, those two guys in the front court, really good defensively. And then adding Bruce Brown. He's a pretty good perimeter defender. Tyrese Halliburton is a bit inconsistent, but he can get in passing lanes, poke the ball away, get a few steals. I'm not saying he's going to be, freaking Steven Jackson out there, but he has the capability to be a positive on the defensive end, and I feel like that's what he should be, at least just getting in those passing lanes, just picking the ball off. Obviously, you've got TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith. All three of those guys, really good defenders, but when you put them all together as a team, that's, they're really inconsistent because not everyone can defend like that. Now, you've got guys who have the capability to defend. I mean, Benedict Mathurin could be a decent defender. He just needs to put that work in. And we saw last year, he was trying to put that work in to be a good defender. So I feel like once this team learns how to play defense as a team, quick and smart with their rotations, they close out quickly. I mean, this team's got some pretty good length. They should be able to close out quickly. Getting defensive and offensive rebounds. Rebounding is something that this team should not struggle with this year with who they've got. This team should not be bad on defense this year. That's what I'm going to say with their they have enough pieces in the starting five and on the bench that they should be able to put together at least a league average defense, probably above average with the guys that they've got. But again, they need to learn to defend as a team, not as individuals. That's what they struggle with. So once they learn how to do that, I feel like this team's set. I mean, we know on offense this team's good. Really, it's going to be defense that is kind of going to be the downfall if they can't play up to standard. But I feel like they've got the potential. They've got the capability to be a good defensive basketball team. And I don't think that's a crazy statement. So this season, just to wrap it up, We should probably see playoffs. At the most, a 5 seed. At the worst, a play-in team. And they should take significant leaps on the defensive end of the ball as a team. Now, if we don't see that, I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm not saying trade away everyone, restart the tank or anything. Just make the moves that are necessary to get us to that point. Because in 2 or 3 years, we should be a contender. I'm Limitless Pulls. Thank you guys for watching. Some of this stuff is probably going to age not the best if this team does bad, but I'm confident enough in this team that I feel like I can make some kind of outlandish statements. So I'm going to do so. I'm going to be confident in these guys and hope that they do well. I can't wait for this season of Pacers basketball. It's going to be a ride. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Just a quick thing, if you've watched this far into the video, just want to bring up that, I know a lot of YouTubers bring this up, but 97% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe. It means a lot. But please, if you want to see more of my content, if you like a lot of stuff that I make, please subscribe to see more of it, because then it encourages me to make more content. I'll see you guys next time.
Never ever will I fold, even if my clothes wrinkle. Bitch ain't single, but this kid'll make a whole me. You don't make the roster if that throw go make my toes tingle.